I'm sure you've heard what the Pareto principle is and what it stands for, which is one of the best and most popular time and life management principles. If not, I'll give you a quick refresher. The Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule, states that everything around us, whether it is in economics, time, or productivity, follow a very interesting pattern. If you have 5 pairs of shoes, chances are you wear only one of those pairs most of the time. Or how spending 2 to 3 hours at the gym a day is what keeps you fit. How about the fact that 20% or less of the people in the world control 80% or more of the money of the world? Crazy, isn't it? But this principle that 20% of something is always tied to 80% of something else pops up all over the place. Of course, the numbers aren't always exact, but there's no denying that this pattern pops up everywhere. Pretty interesting. But how useful is this principle everyone is talking about? What are the different ways we can actually apply it to become more effective? Imagine that you have a daily to-do list with 10 items. According to the Pareto principle, it is very likely that 1 or 2 of those tasks will generate most of your desired results. And the rest of them, well, they won't do very much for you. This will help you with goal setting and productivity. Many people are very busy but not very productive. That is because they spend most of their time doing the rest of the tasks that don't produce much value. By identifying and prioritizing the important tasks to be completed first, you become much more effective. If you haven't found your most important tasks, you can ask yourself, what if I can do only one thing today and still feel accomplished? What would it be? Now let's take it even further. This approach will help you with your goal setting. Now that you've learned how to identify the important tasks, think about the one goal that you want to achieve in the next month, and think about the one thing that you can do daily to achieve this goal. If you ask yourself those questions, you will be more likely to actually achieve that goal instead of always feeling busy but never getting anything done. Now, imagine that you're studying for a test, an important test, a final exam. And you see other students spending a lot of time studying, pulling all-nighters, rereading every page of the book again, and you, knowing the Pareto principle, know that the exam will only contain around 20% of the content in class, the core principles. So you think back on the topics that the teacher spent 80% of his time explaining, because it is very likely that those principles will make up around 80% of the test. Now, you look around at your peers. You see them pulling all-nighters and quote-unquote studying for hours on end. But you realize something. 80% of the time, they're not studying. They start researching something and then they get distracted. They hear the notifications on their phone and they spend 15 minutes on social media. So you think, what are those few things that are wasting 80% of the time while studying? So you work to avoid them. Now, by using the 80-20 principle, you have studied more efficiently and now you are ready for the exam. Now, imagine that you're going over your monthly income statement and you realize that you don't have as much money as you thought you would. So, unlike many people, you take a look at where your money is going. After a bit of analyzing, you realize that this month, a big part of your paycheck you spent was in fast food, new shoes, and a new puppy. So you go further. You take a look at the last 4 months of expenditure and you find a pattern. Close to 80% of your paycheck after expenses is taken by fast food and the need to have the coolest shoes in the market. Now that you know why you're not able to save any money, you decide to assign only 20% of your after expense money to those things that you like. Then you realize that you still get about 80% or more of the joy of having those things. And now you're saving 60% more money. It is amazing how many applications this principle has. If you feel stressed out, chances are that most of your stress is coming from one problem. And chances are that you can solve 80% of the problem by fixing the most important 20%. If you feel like people around you are taking your good energy and your happy mood, chances are that only 20% of the people you hang out with take 80% of your energy. And only about 20% of the people around you make you feel 80% or more of your confidence and motivation. Let me know in the comments, how can you apply the 80-20 rule to a situation that you have right now? And maybe you can help others discover a new application of this principle to use in their own life. Also in the comments, let me know what are the topics that you are interested in learning and if you found this short video useful. If you did, make sure to subscribe to see more awesome videos. As always guys, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.